Hey, it's Joe. I'm very excited. We finally got the TextBlast up and running. We've been testing it up for the last couple of weeks and have been getting some really phenomenal results. I'm going to show you how it works here, and hopefully you'll get as excited about it as I am. This is for everybody who has the auto marketing program. If you don't have that program, you can all go to pushbuttonautomarketer.com and read all about it and get all the details about it. What we're doing is sending out email blasts, voice blasts, and now text blasts that are going to go out, and essentially we're going to people who have their homes for sale and asking them if they would consider selling their home rent to buy rather than just renting it. That's the for rent method. We're also using the subject to system with voice blasts and text blasts, and voice blasts and text blasts can go with other types of leads as well. You can actually upload phone numbers or text numbers and you can send out to those, or you can use the filter and the scraper that we're using, which is what I'm going to show you how to do right now. So let me go first to the category and location. And the first thing you're going to see, if you've been on the site before, one of the changes we've made is we've added two more sites, eBay Classifieds and Kijiji.ca. This allows people who are in Canada to use our site and use a Canadian site. Craigslist is great in Canada as well, but Kijiji also adds another layer to this. All you have to do is, when you set it up, and you only do this part one time, is you go in and you select the city and state that you want to work in and the category that you want to work in, and you do that with all of the pages, all the sites that you want to use. For most of the people who are in the United States, are going to be Craigslist, Backpage, and eBay Classifieds. If you're in Canada, it's Craigslist and Kijiji. So once you do that, you can click on this click to save, and it'll save that, and it'll take then a few hours for it to scrape. Because it works on what's called a cron task. So every few hours it goes in and makes a scrape. And if you open this little tab on the side, it'll show you when the next scrape is going to be. 10:30 at night. It's about 10 o'clock, or it's about 8 o'clock right now. So it's about 2.5 hours from now. It runs every 3 hours. It just ran recently. So now that you've got that done and you waited your 3 hours to get started, or if you're already using it, it's already been populated for you. It's already been scraped and it's pulling up new listings every 2 or 3 hours. But after that's done, then you can go to filter your list and scroll down the page here, and let's pick a time. Let's pick a time and date. So let's go back. I think I'm going to go back a month and just pull some of these from a month ago, because I've been doing so many that are recent now. I've hit most of them, and I want to go back a little bit and try to get ones that I haven't hit. I'm going to also put ones that have at least 2 bedrooms. That'll help me get rid of some of the vacant land that's on there. And then I'm also going to put must have a phone number, because we can't send a text message without a phone number. So once we do that, then I can scroll down the page. I think I'll send out 100 of them this time, so I'll just pick 100 to a page, and then I'll click on search, and down here below it's going to pull up a bunch of listings from that time period, and I'm going to click on select all, and it's going to fill these little boxes and every one of them. So it's selecting all of these listings. Each one of these is a different ad from Craigslist that we've scraped, and then we're going to press TextBlast Q, and it's going to turn this little red minus, and if you see here when I scroll over it, theoretically, add or remove listing from the SMS blast, which is the same as a text blast, Q. And so when I click on text blast Q, it's going to turn that to a red plus, and it's going to do that all the way down the page, all 100 of these. And now when I go up to the top of the page and I go to text blast campaign, I'm going to see that there are now 96 in this text blast. Sometimes it finds duplicates and it doesn't put them in right away. So it put in 96 out of that 100 that I looked for, which is good. Next, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look at the messages that I've got. And I've already pre-written 4 different messages for you. 2 of them are for subject to, and 2 of them are for the for rent method. If you don't know how to use subject to, and if you have this auto marketer system, subject to isn't defined. It doesn't teach you how to do subject tos. It's a little more complex than the for rent method. So I didn't put that training in there. It's in the pushbuttonmethod.com. It's in my mentor program. But you do get the clone sites. You get the websites for the subject to in this system. So if you want to give it a test, you can do that, and you can go to the websites and you can learn how to do subject twos just from the websites pretty much. But to get all the contracts and all the documents you need that other program. And by the way, on the Auto Marketer program, if you buy 6 months of the program in advance, you get 1 month free, so you only pay for 5 months, and you get the $1,000 push button marketer program. It's usually $997 for free. So if you're going to buy the push button method system, you might want to get 6 months of this program instead, because you'll get both for the same price pretty much. Anyway, you can look at what these messages say, and if you open one of these up, it'll have the text that's going out, and you can send up to 150 characters to these people. And this is one that doesn't have a URL. It means it doesn't have a domain name, so it's not sending them to a link. It's just asking them, telling them you'd like to make an offer on their house. Now, if I open the one that says has a URL, then it's going to have a tracking URL. And this tracking URL is going to already be set up so that it goes to your website, your subject to website that you have as part of your clone sites. And it's going to track how many clicks that it gets. And if you'll notice, we've got a really short domain name. We had to track that down. So we get a short domain name, which means we only have to use very few characters. So you leave more room for text if you want to make your message a little bit longer. So that's kind of a cool thing. And the way this is going to work, when I hit start the blast, it's going to start rotating through these 4 messages. And each one of them is going to get the same number of messages. And then you're going to be able to look at it later when they respond to see what kind of response rate you got from each of those messages. So why don't we go ahead and start it. And by the way, this also has the ability to upload your own phone numbers if you like. You can just browse for a CSV file. CSV file is a file that you can use in Excel, and you can save it as a CSV. It means comma separated variable. You want to make sure that you put your phone numbers all in one column, and if you do that, it'll recognize it. You can upload them to the system, and it'll just queue them up into this system here, and you can start the blast to it, and you can send them any message you like. And you don't have to send them these messages. You can create another message by just adding a new message, and you can click on active message and just pick the one message you want it to send. So if all you know is how to do is the for rent method, you can send just for rent method links. And so you don't need to feel overwhelmed by this. You can just send out one message and deal with one message all the time. If you want to create a new message and you click on this, you can you name the message. That doesn't go to the user. That just tells you which message it is. You put in the type of your message that you want in there. And let's just show you here, new message. And if I want to add a tracking link, let's say I want to put my website in there. That's my support site. If I add that support site in there, it'll create a tracking link. Not the same one that I'm sending, but it'll create a tracking link for it. So if I wanted to then save it, it would add it. Oops, I got to put in something here. It'll add it to this list here. And if I want to keep it active, I can keep it active, or I can deactivate it if I don't want it to go out to anyone. So I'm going to activate it, and then I'm going to delete it because I'm not going to ever use that one. And it'll remove it. And if you remove any of these things, you're not going to be able to get them back. You're going to have to type them back in, and you're going to lose any stats that you had. So instead of deleting them, you're going to just deactivate them. Anyway, once you get to that point, and all this is taught in the training program on the site when you get there, so you're going to want to watch that separate video. I just want you to have an understanding of how this thing's working. So I'm going to start the SMS blast. SMS is also text. And it's going to start going through these. And some of these are going to be duplicates, some of them are not. It's already finding duplicates. I've been sending out so many, I'm probably going to be sending out a bunch of duplicates here. But I'm going to pause it for a couple minutes, and then I'll come back. I'm back, but it hasn't been 10 minutes. It's been about 10 hours. This is the next day, actually. And the reason that happened is because I was getting ready to do this, and I realized it was after 8 p.m. That I was sending these out. So they don't go out after 8 p.m. It's set up now so that they go out only between the hours of 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. so that we don't bother people in the middle of the night accidentally, like I was getting ready to do. So anyway, they stopped going out, and I wanted to wait till this morning. It's now just about 10 till 10. These went out immediately at 9 o'clock, and then we started getting responses back. So out of the 100 that I sent, there were 35 of those that were duplicates that I'd sent out previously. And like I said, I've been sending out a bunch of these things over the last few weeks, so that's not surprising. 65 of them went through, and let's take a look at some of the statistics on it by going to the stats. And we can look at just today, just what went out out of this 65 that went out. We're showing this many have been received. So with the FSBO message that had no URL, no link to the web page, we got 6 responses back. There was no link there, so we didn't get any clicks. The one that had the for rent method that had a link in it, 14 of them were sent, and we got 1 response back. So we got about 7% response, and typically we're expecting between a 6 and 8% response. So 7% response is good. 37% response is outrageous, and we've been seeing a lot of really outrageous response rates on this text messaging, but don't expect it to be that high. If we get a 6 to 8% response, that's a pretty sufficient number. Also, on the one that had no link and it was the for rent, it got more responses. So I'm sorry, the one that did have the link got 1 response and then 1 click. The one that had no link got 4 responses and no clicks, so it got 23% response. The one that had the FSBO subject to offer, it got 1 response. So, and this is just, it's been literally 20 minutes since we sent this out, since these went out. So if we look back, and the numbers on my stats right here aren't very accurate because I've been trying different things, I've been deleting things, I've been adding things, I've been changing things around a little bit, so they're not very accurate because of the way I've been testing it, because I've been trying to break the thing by trying it different ways. But I just wanted you to see that a response comes in immediately, it comes in quickly. I mean, and then let's take a look at the leads that are actually coming in by going to TextBlast leads. And you can see we've gotten a lot of leads here coming in. Let's take a look at a few of these responses. This one says, give me a call. And you can look at the link to the house by clicking on that little green button, and you can see the house that they had advertised that we had called on. Now, sometimes they'll advertise more than 1 ad, and it'll show up in different, this drop-down menu will show these people have run a bunch of different ads, probably for the same property. They may have changed the price, so you can get a feel for what they've done here. Looks like they may have changed the price as well. So that's something worth looking at. You can view the original ad if it's still up on Craigslist. If it's not, you'll have to look at it in here. And if there's pictures in the ad, they show up on this thing as well. This one didn't have a picture in it. Here's one. This is house is sold. I texted you twice back and never heard back. It's because I'm doing lots of testing and I haven't talked to everybody. What house? They had no idea what we were texting about. Need a regular sale, sorry. So typically what we've been seeing is about half of these are saying no. Half of them are saying give me a call or let me know more. And then there's a few of them that say, go away, and maybe not in those polite terms. So be prepared for a few things like that as well. But the response rate is amazing. You can also put the people that are not nice on this blacklist, so that'll make it easier so you don't have to keep calling them back. Also, they won't get a response. They won't get another blast for at least 7 days because the thing is set up so it can't keep hitting people every time you send out stuff. We don't want to make people angry at us. And then you can look at your stats over here by pulling out this little window, and this will fill up with stats here in just a second and give you some details and how much it's costing to send this stuff out and all that. So you can see that the numbers, you can send out a lot of stuff for not very much money. And it's about $35 to send out all these outbound SMS messages. So it's really very cheap. All right, I hope that helps. I hope you get excited about it. If you're interested in finding out more about it, you can go to my site at this link. It's pushbuttonautomarketer.com, and you can find out more about it. There's lots of videos here. Each one of these links to a different video, or you can read about it, or you can watch more videos about it, or you can see other people that have taken my training programs in the past. This talks about the pricing, and you can go to my blog. And so a lot of stuff here. You can watch a little video here that's a little animation that we created to kind of explain how the auto marketer works and how that process comes together. It's kind of a fun little animation that might be helpful as well, so take a look at that. Anyway, we're excited about it. We're releasing it. It's all ready to go with the new TextBlast. And of course, we've still got the email blast, we've still got the voicemail blast, we've got the clone sites are all included in this. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, but it's not that difficult to learn, because once you get inside this, there's a training tutorial and there's quick start videos that can get you started literally in 5 minutes, starting out a text blast or an email blast or a voice blast and getting it going right away. It doesn't take that much to get it set up, maybe 15-20 minutes to get everything set up. We click a button and it builds the site and or the sites and the account for you, and get you the training materials and get you moving in the right direction. And the thing about this is it's bringing in a ton of leads, and leads that seller financed deal leads, not just any type of lead. These are people that are saying yes or maybe to seller financed deals, which means no money down, no credit, which is the whole point of most of what I'm teaching. Okay, other than the fact that the whole point is to actually make money. So anyway, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoy this, and I hope you'll take advantage of this system. Thanks now. Bye-bye.